Hello. I am waiting to see if we have some company tonight. Um, so give me a few minutes and enjoy the music. I'll be right back. Hey there.
Hey, how's your day been?
Pretty good, pretty good. How are
All
you?
right, I'll make it.
You'll make it?
I thought it was going okay. And then,
Good, good.
yeah, but I made it. So that's what's up.
That's what's up. That's doing better than Benita.
Oh no.
Yeah, she's a little
Is she
under the
really?
weather. So I
Mm,
don't think she's gonna make it tonight.
okay.
I mean, you never know with Benita, she may pop in. But I think it's just us. So, that's okay. That is all right. So we might as well go ahead and get started. Let me do I'm trying to figure out. All right. Show participants can now see. Well, where are the participants? Oh, okay. All right. Once I do that, can I adjust this a little bit? Okay. There we go. All right. Well, welcome, Georgette. Welcome, everyone, to the Global Black Feminist Reading Circle, session 18. We meet on Tuesdays at 6 o'clock. And the book that we're currently reading, we will be continuing to have weekly discussions on until August 8th. You can learn more about us at our website called readingchangeslives.wordpress.com. There's a page there for the Global Black Feminist Reading Circle. There's also a channel called the Global Black Feminist Reading Circle and a Facebook page by that name. The website and well, really just the website right now is where you can find invitations to the weekly events, as well as other posts related to our current reading material. Um, all of that, most of that, all of that, I guess, is on the Facebook page. But I don't know if anybody's noticed, but I haven't been doing the events, the invitations on the Facebook page this session, just because it was too much. It was one more step, one more thing for me to do. So I decided to just put the invitation on the web page, and then I share it to Facebook.
Okay.
Our current reading is The Disordered Cosmos, A Journey into Dark Matter, Spacetime, and Dreams Deferred by Dr. Chanda Prescod-Weinstein. And my name is Michelle Odom. I'm located in Brooklyn, New York, and happy to be here. Happy to be out of that hot sun.
Yay. Indeed. I'm Georgette Moses, and I'm joining from Columbia, South Carolina, where we've got all that hot sun.
Yeah, it was so bad yesterday. I was out about 11 o'clock in the morning, and I was coming back from the grocery store, and so I had been out a couple of hours, but about 11 o'clock, it got so bad. I put my hand on my back, and I turned around to see if a ball of fire had attached itself to my back, because I felt like the turkey in the oven. I mean, it was just crazy.
Yeah, I don't care if they call it climate change, whatever.
Right.
It's something, okay? Ask those people who've been flooded out in Vermont and Pennsylvania. Oh my goodness. The lady said and what made me pause in the news report was the officer said they did not drive into the water. The water came to them. 3 feet of water on the road. What the heck is this? Okay.
3 feet?
3 feet. Oh man.
Wow.
And the West is burning up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
We're gonna need a new planet sooner rather than later.
well, I always come across these little archaeology documentaries, and where they're showing, that we've had complete civilizations living under the ground in caves of many levels. Maybe this is why. Okay.
Wow.
Maybe the earth is going through a cycle. We're gonna have to figure out how to get back down in the cave, back underground.
Yeah. Yeah. This is something. I was listening to Michael Moore's podcast this week, and he was talking about watching a recent episode of Supernova, where they were talking about the planet Mars. And he said Mars used to be mostly covered with water, like the Earth, about 70% water. And then something happened that broke the barrier between the planet and its sun. And that dried up everything. And that was that.
Something happened, huh?
Something happened.
Okay. Okay, well, I'm just gonna throw this out there. There's evidence of nuclear explosions. Okay. On the
Where?
planet. Yes, on
On
Mars. On Mars.
really?
For real, for real.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm.
Something happened.
Yeah. Something for real, for real.
Wow.
Between that and all these cave, underground civilization.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
In the words of Fox
Oh,
Mulder, the truth is out there, but do we want to know it?
Yeah, I don't know anymore.
Right.
I
Oh
don't know. I used to
man.
think I loved the truth, but I don't know.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Oh,
All right, let's see. Share my screen. I can close this. And that's the agenda. Share screen. Agenda. Share. There we go. Okay, so, all right, how do I get that out of the way? I want you to go up, go up, go up, get out of the way.
Michelle, you talking to your stuff like I do.
I'm talking, I'm talking to this piece, which is telling me it's gonna do what it wants to
Right.
do. So next week, July 25th, we're on chapter 13, Cosmological Dreams Under Totalitarianism. But tonight we are focused on chapter 12, The Point of Science, Lessons from the Mauna. And let's see, this is, I'm going to call that humanoidity.
Okay.
This is the Mauna mountain. And this other thing over here is the TMT, the 30-meter telescope. All right, the creolization of communities that has been produced through settler colonialism, globalization, and imperialism can never be undone. What can change, however, is our relationship to the current power arrangement and our relationships with each other. So wrote Chanda Prescod-Weinstein. This week's reading kicks off the fourth and final section of the book, Phase 4, All Our Galactic Relations, Chapter 12, The Point of Science, Lessons from the Mauna, in the Disordered Cosmos, A Journey into Dark Matter, Space-Time, and Dreams Deferred by Chanda Prescod-Weinstein. Here, the author seeks to inspire her fellow scientists to see the ongoing protest of a planned new telescope for Hawaii, the 14th, as a reason to reflect on science's historical role in colonialism and a motivation for changing the relationships between institutional science and the world's peoples. We must set the stage now for the possibility of encountering other life forms in our own galaxy and the galaxies beyond. During the fall of 2011, as an MLK postdoc at MIT, the author was invited by Paul Schechter on an observing run to the Magellan telescopes at Las Campanas Observatory in Chile's Atacama Desert, where she saw the night sky in a way our ancestors must have seen it, and was awed by the beauty of this birthright. The author grieved at how Black people in the Americas have been severed from our indigenous ways of knowing, and understood why some communities continue to fight to preserve their political and cultural autonomy. She notes how this majestic view is on land steeped in colonial history. Though the magnificence of the night sky is found in places providing optimal conditions for astronomers like Chile and Hawaii, the author strongly believes they are more than perfect locations for scientists. They are birthrights and ones that stolen and colonized people have been denied. Chanda Prescod-Weinstein tells the story of how she came to learn of protest in Hawaii over the 30-meter telescope, why she declined to accept a job offer that would require crossing a picket line there, and how she learned key lessons from cultural knowledge keepers that helped her see the moral obligations and role of science in the world. She questions the processes of science, including the miseducation she received, which obscured the place of racism and colonialism, and calls out the dismissive way in which some scientists view concerns over diversity and inclusion. The struggle against the planned 30-meter telescope for sacred land on Maunakea highlight how modern processes and practices in science continue to reflect colonialism and a lack of ethics in the field. This does not position humans for journeys into outer space, where we may one day encounter new life forms. CPW urges colleagues to consider the responsibilities of scientists beyond the lab, looking clearly at the ways in which science has benefited from colonialism and the role it can play in mitigating impacts on Indigenous peoples, such as Native Hawaiians. She recognizes her own anxieties about humans arriving on new planets and the fears white people carry of being colonized by aliens. Humanity must now pursue an anti-colonial agenda as vigorously as some have used colonialism to rob people of their bodies, lands, languages, and cultures. CPW believes institutional science should change to show respect for other cultures. Colonialism plays a violent, destructive role in the world, both historically and currently, and some people are fighting back. Like the Hawaiians who seek healing and balance, the ethics of science should lead to restructuring relationships to current power arrangements and with the world's peoples. Anxieties related to how humans may one day be colonized by other species come from the ways we have learned to treat each other here on planet Earth. Now is the time for healing and balance, or pono, as Indigenous Hawaiians call it. So, let's see. So I highlighted questions in green. Gio, would you start with reading number 3, please?
Sure. In 2001, at her Harvard College residence, Adams House, Chanda saw an email from Josh, a physics major, offering her a job as a telescope tech at a new observatory on Maunakea, paying around $50,000 a year. This after 2 years of being puzzled by the power dynamics at Harvard. CPW started writing to her mom, but first searched the term astronomy, Maunakea, where she quickly learned about protests happening there opposing the telescopes. Her heart sank. Her family background would not allow for crossing a picket line. CPW's mom, a brilliant strategist, an advocate for grassroots women's organizations, had also brought the serial killer, the grim sleeper, to justice. Her dad in DC was a union man, and her stepmom was a labor lawyer. Chanda had walked picket lines with her dad and stepmom against Hyatt Hotels and Eastern Airlines, and with her mom had been guests of Lakota Friends in South Dakota for the Sundance. There was absolutely no way I could cross a picket line, especially not one organized by Indigenous people. She had also been involved in the Harvard Living Wage campaign, which was visited by AFL-CIO head John Sweeney and had been furious with students who critiqued their cause. Chanda believed taking action was not just as extracurricular activity, but also a moral duty for anyone with keys to the Harvard kingdom. With heavy heart, she declined the job offer. And questions A through E. If we don't really believe in religion, do we still have moral duties? How do you see the difference between morality and ethics? Are Harvard students or privileged people the only ones with moral and or ethical duties? Do your morals or ethics allow you to cross picket lines? And should Chanda have taken the $50,000 a year job in Hawaii, in your opinion? Please explain.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm. What was that? Oh.
Say, where were you?
No, something flashed up on my screen. I didn't know, if it was an unwelcome visitor or
Oh,
what it
okay.
was.
Yes, yes. We do remember those days. Yes, we do.
Yes, yes.
Oh my goodness.
Um,
Hmm.
well, I understand why she did not take the job. And, a lot of people may not understand, but it uh, I think it was a good decision, a right decision. Um, and I understand, especially with her family background, why that would have just been, it just too much drama and trauma. So, not that she needs my affirmation, but I'm for that.
Yeah.
And oh, this is the part that had where she just kind of slightly mentions the grim sleeper.
Oh my goodness. I had to pause in my reading and go find the HBO documentary. Okay.
Yes.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen the documentary yet, but I've
Oh,
read
you need to.
some articles. I don't know. I don't know if I want to see the documentary.
Well, hmm.
Oh, wow. I mean,
I was in California for a brief period. And it explains some things. It explains
really?
some things I saw about the sheriff's department there because I actually applied, and I'm so glad I didn't get the job because yeah, they
Wow.
got it. They had issues then. They've still got them now.
Yeah.
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 You got to watch that. HBO did an excellent job. They did an excellent job. And her
Okay.
mom, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of her. I am
What
so
a
proud of her.
mother. Yes.
Yes. So how could she take this job in Hawaii? Okay. Nah,
Right.
not at all. Not at all.
Not at all. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
That was impressive. That was very impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I used to really like Criminal Minds,
Oh
but I
yeah.
but I've gotten so I can't even watch too much of that because I can't take all the grim and the gore and the oh God. And so
Um,
to go up against a serial killer in real life, I just can't imagine. I'd be trying to stay so far
yeah.
off the radar.
Right. But these kind of that, he's predators like that. They're looking at, their victims, the community, and they know their weaknesses. They pick the ones that nobody's going to miss. And
Right.
unfortunately, this guy was cheered on by people in the police department and the community. You know, he found like depraved minds in that community.
Yeah.
It was it was just like, wow, this is a bigger problem than just this one guy that needs to be addressed. One, you know, the throwaway label of Black and brown women in these communities, and two, the cultivating of, you know, misogyny, to the extent of violence or cheering on violence. You know, he had acquaintances who kind of knew, who didn't want to see. Yeah, and then he had acquaintances who were like involved in cheering him on. Oh my God.
Wow.
Just yeah. And and I'm sure his son is very damaged
Yeah.
because there was a babysitter who was one of his victims that he did not kill, but he did severely abuse.
Yeah.
And she, you know, she was hooked on drugs. And but the his son, I don't remember how old she said he was, single digits, you know. And his son said, the word she used was, what did she say? It was a strange word to use, but it put you in the mindset of, yeah, he messed with that boy.
Mm.
And the second wife was, you know, she was like, I don't even know if that was his mother, the boy's mother, because she was never there. She'd go to church or leave for like a week and a half. And these are things, little tidbits you find out as that crew was so good. That crew was so good. They put together testimonies, you know, interviews from all these different people, and you began to see a pattern. And at first, you know, his upstanding group of buddies, no, it couldn't have been him. He just steals cars. No, not steal cars, but he will acquire them. And I'm like, okay, but that makes him an okay guy. and but then they came back. They came back to the investigative crew to say, well, you know, I started thinking about it. Some of the things that happened or he said or we did together, you know, seemed kind of queer. And then, oh my God, it all came out. And I'm like, dudes, really? Y'all stances are so low. Okay. You never watched a crime show. You couldn't tell this guy was doing some stuff.
Right. Wow.
Oh man. And that's all I'll say about it. But yeah, Chanda's mom, she was right there with handing out the flyers saying, you people can't see this. I can see this. Stevie Wonder could see it. No, she didn't say that, but it was practically that way, right?
Yeah, but that's a lesson in ethics, you know, that's just priceless. You know, that was something. So anyway, that's Chanda's family. Father, a union man, stepmother, a labor lawyer, mother, a grassroots organizer. Um, you know, she couldn't have taken that job even if she wanted to.
No, how could she come home and talk? Okay, you did what? For what?
Yeah, yeah. And somewhere I was reading, I don't know if it was this book or somewhere else, um, but she was saying that her family really didn't want her to go into science because of all of the ethical problems in science. Um, and so, you know, I mean, she did it anyway, but I think that's why this is such a has been such a struggle for her, because, you know, she's not made of that stuff that just lets you go along to get along and, you know, close a blind eye to, you know, whatever wrongness you see.
Yeah.
She can't do it. You know?
Well, hey, I'm glad she made the decision, because a lot of people need to know this information. And who knows, she probably saved some folks from committing suicide along the way, right? Undergraduates, if she
Right,
hadn't have been there, right?
right. Absolutely.
Mm, mm,
Absolutely. And open some eyes of people going into science. I mean, the thing that um, is really striking to me as we read through the book is most of the stuff. I mean, other than the technical science she forced down our throats in part one. The rest of it to me is just stuff you find anywhere, everywhere, in, you know, in every industry, every field, every profession, um, every career track. Um, and so it's not like you're going to avoid racism or sexism, you know, or sexual assault, you know, or white folks who just don't want to hear, you know, what you're trying to
mm,
say. Um, so yeah, you know, so I see her as bringing us the particular way it looks and plays out in this field. But really it's, you know, it's the same stuff. And so that the issue of morality or ethics, um, you know, is going to be with you if you're a moral or ethical person. Is going to be with you in any field. And there are going to always be challenges to, you know, do I just go along with this program, um, you know, or do I find a way to try to make things better? Um,
mm,
yeah. So, you know, but I think that for me, there is a real difference in morals and ethics. And so the way she kind of writes the chapter uses the word morality a lot. But for me, morality is related to religion. Um, and so, you know, that's why I asked the question, if we don't really believe in religion, then, you know, can we still expect people to have morality? Um, and, you know, and scientists, you know, in particular are, um, you know, famous for not believing in religion. Um, which is not to say every one of them, but, you know.
mm,
So I think of ethics as much as a broader, um, I don't know, worldly, um, uh, uh, set of beliefs and values, really values, um, about about our sense of right and wrong, but not right and wrong because God said so, but right or wrong because either something makes sense or it doesn't. So, for example, um, if you're going to come into my home and put me out on the street and, you know, redecorate, throw out all my shit and redecorate, don't be surprised, you know, if I burn down your house. And so the reason to not put somebody on the street from an ethical perspective is not because God said it's wrong to put people on the street, but because if you don't want to get your house burned down,
Hey.
then maybe you should respect other people's property. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
And so whether you're a religious person or not, we can still expect you to have a set of ethics that guide your behavior.
Yeah, well, you would hope so. Huh. And there are probably some, you know, I'll really have to look more deeply into that. Because yes, I agree with you about morality being linked, because that's the first thing you think of is some religious or spiritual or cultural belief system. And then ethics is something more structured, uh, less touchy-feely, more we have some laws in place, right? Some agreed upon rules for and consequences, you know, that we've all agreed to abide by. So, and then there are penalties, right? Interesting.
And so she's talking to these scientists about the wrongness of colonialism and trying to get them to stop their evil ways. But I'm thinking, you know, are you talking to a group of people that actually have a sense of morality?
Well, when you think of a scientist, you think of a person who let's take our most recent examples, uses animals for experimentation. How do we get most of the data for the drugs, you know, and what have you, biological influences on humans? We don't normally, well, anymore, hope, use humans, right? We're using animals. And so at some point, the scientists must say, well, this is for the good of all mankind. I'm going to shave this rat, or I'm going to, you know, alter the genetics in this rat so it has a huge tumor growing on it. And then because its lifespan is so quick, you know, yeah, we're going to do 15 of these and just kill them and dissect them. So, you know, they're just different kind of people, right? They are there for information's sake, right? Not, well, what are the greater implications of this on society? Like, okay, y'all have to deal with this, what I found out.
Right.
Now you have to deal with that's out of my purview. I'm just the information person. You know, I think they kind of like disconnect from, well, this is my just my overall hypothesis is that they disconnect from the things that might make them question activity, right? Up to a certain point, because we do have several whistleblowers historically who've come forward and say, hey, look, aspartame is going to kill you. I was working in the lab. You know, things like that, jokes aside, but Chanda giving us this insight, you know, into this particular area of science, it kind of informs the rest of it. Yeah, you know, these are different kinds of people who, if you're not thinking the same way as the group, you're not going to succeed. You're not going very far. So they kind of self-police, the thinking. It's, it's really a shame, because there is a place for having a more humane and inclusive viewpoint of your work, and being responsible about the outcomes, right? How are we getting to the point or the knowledge we wish to seek or have? There is a way to do that, but if you're constricted in even asking the question,
Right.
you're not getting there. No, you won't be getting there. And so the morality has an asterisk, and so does ethics in the scientific community. And it's always been that way, I kind of feel. Mhm.
Okay. All right, let's see what's next. Agenda. Share. Okay, we'll go to number 5. As a Jew, CPW must reread the entire Torah each year and thinks of all the interpretations we can glean from it. She wishes scientists would do more of this sort of thing. Questions. The Bible, too, is subject to many interpretations. Is the rereading of sacred text a key to preserving cultural fidelity? And what Black studies text, if any, would you have Black people read annually? I yeah, well, I do think it's a good idea. If you want to instill a certain set of morals or ethics, to have that community keep reading the text that espouses those morals and ethics. Since I'm always talking about the 500-year plan, then, I do think it would be a good idea. I don't know what the text would be, but one thing that came to mind as I was writing that question was The Fire Next Time by James Baldwin. And I think that's because it's a short book. It's a good book. It's James Baldwin.
Yes.
And I think, if this were a book for Black people, it's a good book for kind of getting into, what's all the anger, what's all the frustration, what's it all about? I was talking to Benita earlier today. I was telling her about a story last week about, I can't call the guy's name, but he was killed in New York, New Rochelle, New York, because he stole some grapes and a banana from a grocery store. And the store clerk called the police. the police say that the man tried to grab their gun. They had some video cam, but it shows right up to the supposed moment when the man tried to grab their gun. And you know, so I mean, it's living with just daily stories like that, daily occurrences of just senseless death. You know, where really no value is placed on Black life. And, you know, I mean, and we've been dealing with that scenario ever since we got here. And, you know, and so you can pick up a writer from any generation and read the same story. And so James Baldwin is just one of our preeminent storytellers.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I don't know. Oh my goodness. You could go through all of his books. Really. I wouldn't just read one book annually because we need that much. We need that much help and encouragement.
Yeah. So, all right, let's look. Let's look at the next question. That's a hard one because, you know, there's so much out there, and you know, it's really not fair to start calling names of books and authors. But, you know, if someone were really putting together a book, writing a book with the intention of, you know, this is the book for every generation to read every year, you know, it might shape kind of what you did with the book.
Yeah.
All right, that was a short question, so I'll read this one. CPW loves the expansive vision of Star Trek and the idea of humanoidity. Learning how to share not just a planet, can I see my thing? Not just a planet, but a galaxy. At annual Trekkie convention, she also explains the unlikelihood of reaching warp speed. Warp speed is travel at the speed of light, which is 983,571,056 feet per second, or 186,282 miles per second. Almost 200,000 miles per second.
That's really fast.
That's really fast. That is really, really fast. So I think it kind of makes sense that we might not get there. All right, questions. Are you a Trekkie? And if so, what's your favorite series and what did you love about it? And how likely is it, do you suspect humans will be able to live harmoniously with humanoids? Should we encounter any in outer space or anywhere among the 5,000 plus exoplanets outside of our galaxy? and what makes you feel this way. Oh, that was supposed to be a C. You know, I'm
Oh, oh,
sorry.
7. Okay.
Yeah, in fact, I gotta fix it right now. I gotta fix it.
Michelle, right now.
Okay, that's a
Okay.
C. Because, all right, I got down to the end. I knew there were supposed to be 12 questions.
Uh-huh.
And I got down to the end and it said there were 13 questions. And I was like, how did it become 13 questions? And I
Right.
looked back through it, and I couldn't see what the problem was. But I just saw the problem. Number 7 was not supposed to be 7, it was supposed to be C.
Okay. Well, problem solved. We're
Problem solved.
good.
All right. How do you feel about knowing it is unlikely humans will ever travel at warp speed? All right. Are you a Trekkie? Do you think we'll be able to live harmoniously with humanoids? And how do you feel about you're not going to travel at warp speed? Well, I'm bummed out about the warp speed thing.
Crush. Chanda, that is not the place to tell people.
Yes, Chanda is like
Not
a
a tricky
killjoy.
convention.
All these Trekkies running around at the convention.
We trying to live long and prosper, and she just crushed us. Oh, no, the science is wrong.
Yes. Yes. Oh
Oh
my
my.
God. That was not good news.
I'm like, okay, Chanda, I was liking you up until this very moment. No.
Yes. No
And then I
wonder
got a
people
hold of
don't like
myself.
scientists.
No, right? Okay, but science is like shifting sand. So those are the facts today. Don't have to be
Yeah.
the facts tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah. And she did say we've been wrong before.
Yeah. Yeah. So there is hope. There is
Yeah.
hope.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. So what's your favorite series? What's your favorite Star Trek series?
The first one.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
original.
Yeah. I've never really well, I like the one too with Picard.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But who is the first guy? James T. Kirk.
Mhm.
Uh
Oh my goodness. I just love it.
that,
His acting was over the top, but you had to love it. Oh my gosh.
yeah. Yeah.
And it was just the dynamics between the characters, McCoy and Spock, and then you intersperse Scotty in there, and then sometimes Mr. Sulu, and then Uhura, and it was just great. You could just kind of see, feel how they felt about each other working together. So
And
I
it really stimulated our imagination,
Mhm.
I think got the planet thinking about, well,
and
yeah,
we sure needed that at that time, right? There was
right.
so much bad stuff going on.
Yeah. And I really always appreciated their ethical culture. I mean, that thing
Mhm.
about the prime directive, you
Yeah.
know.
Mhm. It led to many an interesting episode.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
So, I mean, I think it pointed scientists in the right direction in terms of um, values, whether they, follow them or not. Um, Somebody out there realizes that, the behavior that has been going on here on Earth, it's not going to play well.
That's right. Right. Where to be the planet they passed by? Are they ready yet? Oh no. Okay, give it. Okay, warp 25. Head to the next system.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And so, you know what? Let me just read this next part about the exoplanets, because this is kind of interesting. This is from a NASA page on exoplanet exploration. How many exoplanets are there? To date, more than 5,000 exoplanets have been discovered and are considered confirmed out of the billions in our galaxy alone. Exoplanets are planets outside of our galaxy. There are thousands of other candidate exoplanet detections that require further observations in order to say for sure whether or not the exoplanet is real. Remarkably, the first exoplanets were just discovered in the 1990s. We live in an extraordinary time where, in the span of a single generation, the centuries-old question, are there planets orbiting other stars, has been answered with a resounding yes. So, yeah, the 1990s. So, back when we were watching Star Trek in the 60s,
Right.
they were working off of pure imagination, I guess.
Yeah.
But truth is stranger than fiction, as they say.
Hey, what is it exactly that separates them now? I don't know. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
Because when you look at the devices, that were used on the set, you had your flip phone, your flip phone communicator, your tricorder scanning the body for the sliding doors with the sensors. We have those things, right? We
Right.
have those things. We even
Right.
have a sort of versions of the phasers, but
Yeah.
I don't know how that's working out. Um, I like, well, I have respect for all of the different Star Trek series, but I think my favorites are the original, and Star Trek Discovery, because it's got my girl from The Walking Dead in it. No, I just love her. I just love her. Star Trek Discovery, have you never seen that series?
I have. I've seen
Oh,
it.
okay. Yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's Trekkies are just different kind of people. We want to believe that humans can evolve to intelligent yet caring and moral and ethical participants of the universe.
I'm not so hopeful anymore, Gio.
Oh my gosh. Every time you turn around, we are just showing our dysfunction. Your dysfunction slip is showing again, Margaret. No.
Yes. 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 So I don't know how we're going to ever be able to live harmoniously, um, with other species when we can't live harmoniously with all of the species on this planet, the animals, the plant life. And Benita and I love this book uh, by Dr. Harari, Noel Harari, Sapiens. Sapiens, which goes back in It goes way, way back in human history. I want to say about 100,000 years back. And he talks about the science that the evidence that there were probably at least about 6 other species of humans on this planet, and nobody can say with certainty what happened to them. But somehow our species survived. You know, and they did not. And so yeah, we don't have a good track record of playing nice with others. And so I'm not real hopeful for what's going to happen when we make contact, you know, with I mean I do believe that there's other life out there, you know, and I've always believed that, probably since the days Star Trek put the idea in my head. Right? But it just always seemed to just make perfect sense to me. You know, how could we possibly be the only life, you know, on this planet? That's what doesn't make sense to me. So, you know, I think we may one day encounter others. But so far, all we've been able to show is that the only language that power understands is power, you know. And so if we discover that we're more powerful than whatever we find out there, then, you know, too bad for them. But if we find out that they're more powerful, which is not hard to imagine because humans we just don't seem that bright to me. I'm like, there has to be more intelligent life out there. And if they are more powerful than us, then I don't see why they would spare us, because we don't play nice with others.
Oh, maybe that's why we're out on the edge of the Milky Way. We're in the boondocks.
Yeah, we've been pushed out of the playground.
Yeah. We're in the corner with the dunce cap.
On a timeout. Yeah. So this may be our last chance to figure out. I mean, I don't know. I mean, really, when you think about this temperature thing, it doesn't seem like we have that much time.
It kind of does feel that way, doesn't it? I keep thinking about George Carlin, his famous line, "Hey, the earth will shake us off like fleas in a minute," because we don't know how to act.
We don't. And it's like we just keep doing the same things over and over again, you know. So anyway, Chanda
Okay.
is doing her best to try to steer the ship in another direction, because she can see the crash course that we're on. You know? And, you know, that's got to be really, really frightening for her, because she probably knows a lot about the likelihood of encountering other life and when exactly we may be in a position to do that.
Well, she is looking up in the sky, isn't she?
She's looking up in the sky. And she's looking up in the sky and also looking down here at Earth. I was saying to Benita earlier, you know, she's very active on Twitter. And she wrote a comment on there recently that said, "I hate it here."
Oh.
And she attached a story by that MAGA type, Joe Rogan, where he was saying something about science now says the Earth is 27.6 billion, or the universe is 27.6 billion years old. And Chanda was saying, no, absolutely not. This is what I do. Stop it. You know, but I'm just saying it's got to be just a very frustrating experience to be a scientist in this day and age, where there's so much anti-science going on and so much ignorance running rampant. I mean, there's always been ignorance running rampant on the earth, but you know, now it's got megaphones.
Every 2 seconds, and it alerts. Hey, I got something stupid to say. I'm on your phone. Click on me.
Yes. Constant.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. That makes social media a minefield.
Yeah. So, you know, I think she's a brilliant person, but also very sensitive. And, you know, I mean, I just think that's a combination that makes life very hard, because you have to see things that most people don't see, can't see. Or if they see, they are able to just block them out, you know. But she can't do that. And so, yeah. So when she says, "I hate it here," you know, yeah. I feel you.
Yeah.
But we don't have anywhere else to go, Chanda. So keep on living.
Right. You do some self-care, you know. Hey, avoid Joe Rogan and tweets. Because, you know, he probably really doesn't even believe what he said, but he gets the clicks. He gets paid because of clicks. He'll say anything, like a lot of them. So, hey, what you gonna do? Wait for the alien apocalypse. No.
Oh man. All right. So no, we're not living harmoniously with humanoids. We can't even live harmoniously with each other.
Yeah.
Georgette, let's look at number 12. I knew there were only 12 questions.
You feel better now? Okay, Michelle. You can just
so much better. I feel so much better.
You can relax. It was just that extra tab. You made extra tab, and autocorrect said, "Oh, she means 7."
Yes.
Okay, question 12. CPW has never been to Mauna because she did not feel needed there, and it is not her ancestral land. When she went to oh boy, Hal, oh, I'm gonna murder this one.
Alay,
Haleakala.
okay.
Okay,
For me.
all right. Like an earthbound space tourist, she did not know it was contested land. In photos she has seen of the 2015 protests on Maunakea, she saw signs reading Pono science is possible. The phrase was first articulated by Kale Lumho. Professor Brian Kamauli Kuwada has taught CPW that Pono is tied to the practice of Ho'oponopono, activity that brings about healing and balance, with Pono the outcome of that. There are many imperfect English translations like righteousness, virtue, goodness, and hope. Question A. Pono sounds to me a lot like reparations, which are fought vigorously by people of European descent, where African peoples are concerned. In what ways could the reparations help to bring about healing and balance in the world? And why are they opposed so vigorously? And question B. Recently, I saw an old episode of NCIS, where the lead character, Jethro Gibbs, told a young agent, Ellie Bishop, she should never apologize because saying I'm sorry is a sign of weakness. Do you believe apologies indicate weakness? Question C. In your experience, do people hesitate to apologize even when their words and or actions were clearly wrong? And question D, what happens to relationships when they do not include apologies, like a dream deferred? Do they fizzle and die?
Okay. Thank you. Okay, reparations and apologies. Um,
Hmm. Wow.
yeah, I mean, reparations, I believe are necessary, not just for Black people to be, uh, who is it? Rihanna that said, pay me what you owe me. You know,
Okay.
not only for Black people to be paid what we're owed, um, but for white people to heal from the guilt that they carry. In this chapter, Chanda talks about the anxiety that white people have of being colonized by other species, and how that anxiety comes from they know what they did.
They know what they're still doing.
They know what they're still doing. And and so if you think that other people see through the same prism that you do, then yeah, you should be scared. You should be scared of alien species. You should be scared of people of color around the world rising up and having a mass snuff event in the middle of the night.
Goodness.
You should be scared.
Good grief.
We don't do things like that. But the fear is understandable. The fear, the guilt, the anxiety is understandable. And so if you can't ever say, I'm sorry, and here's some reparations to go along with that apology, then you can't ever get that monkey off your back, because you know what you did and are doing is wrong. You know that.
Yeah.
The TV show was striking to me when Jethro Gibbs said that to Ellie Bishop. Don't ever apologize. It's a sign of weakness. Don't ever say you're sorry. And he later in the show reiterated it when he heard her again telling someone that she was sorry about something. And it was striking to me because, you know, it just made me wonder, you know, how many children hear that kind of thing on TV? You know, they may not be going to church on a regular basis and being outfitted with a sense of morality. But they're getting their values and ethics and morals from TV shows with lines in it like that, you know. And that was a pretty chilling thought to me.
I'd have to say not just children. We got young adults and adults doubling down. Yeah, that's my character. And he said it, must be right.
Yeah. And, you know, I mean, I know people who, no matter the wrongness of their behavior, you know, will never, under any circumstances, utter an apology. And so that's why I had to ask the question. So what happens to relationships? I mean, you can refuse to apologize. You know, nobody can make you apologize.
Yeah.
But when you have absolutely wronged somebody, you know, and you continue to refuse to apologize for it, it does irreparable damage to the relationship. It just does, you know. Yeah. And so maybe, you know, people don't really care about that. They don't, you know, but that's what you're saying, that you don't care, you know, about what happens to a relationship because it's destroyed by that kind of refusal.
That's true.
So I just think, you know, that when people are genuinely sorry about whatever it is they did, you know, or didn't do, then the best, healthiest thing to do is apologize. You know, it's not a sign of weakness to me. It is a sign of strength. That you can recognize your own mistakes, your own flaws, and, you know, and take corrective measure. And so when people refuse to apologize, I always interpreted it as, because you ain't sorry. You know, you did what you wanted to do. You're happy about it. You don't care if the relationship is destroyed. And so why would you apologize? You ain't sorry, you know.
Yeah. That is very true. I I think it also indicates a sense of self-importance, right? You are unable to view the situation from the other person's side and try to, you know, even want to understand, well, why would they feel offended? Oh, well, it doesn't matter if I was wrong or right. I'm concerned about how they feel about it, and how can we go forward if we wish to continue to have whatever kind of relationship or conversation or, you know, communication that we're having. But people are just very self-centered, very service to self. Uh, they're just not raised right these days. Just common courtesies that we had growing up. It didn't matter what socioeconomic status you had. There were certain things you remembered to do because it was just the right thing to do, right? You said please and thank you, and somebody else said please and thank you back to you. And you informed each other. And there's something, about that positive exchange of energies that transfers to the next interaction you have with another human being or even, an animal. Y-
Mm.
It's about energies.
Mhm.
And I think someone who has that kind of mindset where, it's my way or the highway because I don't really care. My world is, whatever I wish it to appear to be to you,
Mhm.
because it can't be great if you cannot extend uh that kind of what's the word I'm searching for? Graciousness, right? You know, room in your heart for how someone else might feel. I mean, even if the other person was wrong, okay. All
Right.
right, well, hey, this is just how I saw it. Well, tell me how you saw it. Okay. Oh, well, is this what you're saying? Let me understand how you're saying, am I repeating, what you felt?
Mhm.
But they don't even care. They don't want to know. They don't want to know. They just want to move on to the next conquest because that's supposed to be the successful mindset.
Mhm.
All right. What is it? What's that term? Something and conquer or whatever. But that's how that's the this description of a successful person in our society, I guess, is just to be the guy on top, no matter what.
A sociopathic narcissist.
Oh yeah, that's kind of it, ain't it? That is kind of it. And wow. And I mean, this is an interesting question because before I came on, I was just reading a local news article. We have five, yeah, I think five school districts in the city. And well, one of them, which is predominantly, you know, financially well off and the more Caucasian than any other ethnicity. One of the teachers had gotten permission to read Ta-Nehisi Coates' Between the World and Me. Okay. And all of a sudden it's a problem. It was so much of a problem that the school board had to have a meeting with public comments. And Ta-Nehisi Coates came down himself and sat next to the teacher. I'm like, oh, Jesus. Is he? Yeah, no, he's from Brooklyn. Okay, he had to come to South Carolina to
Wow.
stand by this teacher because one student said it made them feel guilty about being white. Well, you need to have a conversation with your parents and
Yes.
their pastor, okay? All right, don't blame the teacher. Don't blame the information. You need to have a conversation with your people at home and see if they can
Right.
help you
And
through this, right?
right.
It's about information. What you do with it, you know, that's your choice. Now you can
And you
either,
should be able to have some feeling. Feeling is human. And
yeah,
we've turned feeling, we've turned emotion into such a boogeyman, such a weakness.
yes,
Um, but to me, it's like saying, if you cut me, I bleed, but I don't want to bleed. Well, I bleed because that's what humans do.
Yeah.
And the blood tells me something's going on here.
And you should pay attention to it. Okay.
And you might want to look at that. Whether you get a Band-Aid or whatever it is you're going to do, there's a problem that needs to be addressed. And so to me, we are supposed to have feelings because the feelings are information. The feelings are telling us. So if the little white kid is feeling bad about what he read, I read that book. You know, me and my son Dean did a public book group on that book. The book didn't make him feel
bad. Maybe it's about some of the conversations the kid is overhearing in his home that don't the juxtaposition with this information. It's like is giving him some kind of trauma. Well, living in South Carolina will give you some kind of trauma. Okay.
Right.
So it's, and there was a little video clip of one of the ladies the one who had reported it and made a big stink about it. And she was like, she was just so happy and self-satisfied with, we may be the what did she say? We may be the minority, but we're the loudest minority. And I'm like, lady, you're proud of not only disrupting education in the school system, causing setting more gasoline on a controversy that's destroying a whole bunch of educational settings across the country. And are you helping this kid? Right? Are you making him feel any better by saying, oh, you bad matchstick. Why are you over here trying to light a fire? Deal with the kid, okay? Help him. Oh Lord, it's just insanity. This whole narrative, of half truths about, CRT and actual history, real facts. Chanda, right? Here we back to Chanda. Real facts. No, it wasn't. What's his face? Smell, whatever his name was. It was this, Muslim guy. Yes. Right. Real facts. We don't want to hear that. No, we don't want to hear that. It's giving me palpitations. Oh, clutch the pearls. Oh, my doggone it. How important is it to you? To hold on fast, with a death grip to what you think makes you who you are. That is the problem. The more we will have new information, we should be able to grow and evolve with it. When you can't, right? When you set up these impermeable boundaries around your mind and your soul, that's where you begin to have that problem, because they cracking and you don't know how to handle it, right? You're receiving the cuts and where's the Band-Aid? I'm trying. Yeah, give me that bubble gum. We gonna put it on it. That ain't gonna work. Okay.
Right.
Oh Lord, I don't even know. We're back to, I don't think we're gonna make it to light speed.
I don't think we're gonna make it to life.
Oh my God.
Just speed and if I were a creature on another planet and I saw humans coming my way.
Pretend you're a rock. They'll never notice. They're looking for tall blonde beings with blue eyes. You know that.
Yes. Oh my God. I don't know.
Oh,
but yeah, maybe this is our practice test. Maybe we can't move to the big leagues of the multiverses, exoverses.
Oh my
And
God.
until we learn how to play nicely here.
Well,
And we're not there.
no, according to the Hopi, this is what we've had 5 of these already.
Practice test.
Yes.
And we fail every time.
We ain't made it yet. We keep going right to where she left. Okay. Like, oh my God.
Oh God.
Oh my goodness. Well, anyway, you have a positive question in this bunch here. Shall we make up something?
Well, I don't know if this is positive or negative. Well, all right. It probably is mostly negative. But the TMT 30-meter telescope. So this book was published in 2021. The protests were still actively going on at that time to the building of the 14th telescope on Hawaii, on Maunakea. Some of the local people consider it sacred ground, it's burial ground, and feel very strongly that, you know, they don't want this land desecrated. Not all Hawaiians feel that way. You know, I guess they have their Clarence Thomases too. We never all feel the same.
Yes.
But anyway, as of this year, they have come to some kind of agreement. The mountain, the telescopes have really been under the stewardship, I guess, of the University of Hawaii. And so people have had a lot of problems with the way the university has handled things. And so they've set up a new commission that will be in charge of the telescopes. And I forget how many people are on the commission, but it's supposed to have a couple or a few representatives of Native local people. Okay. And I think a part of what they've agreed to is that they will decommission or take down some of the existing 13 telescopes before they proceed with constructing the 30-meter telescope. So that's why I say I don't know. I have no idea how, how the protectors actually feel about this deal.
Yeah.
When I read about it, it struck me as just kind of the standard US approach to dealing with problems. Well, we'll set up a commission.
Right. How long is this going to take? No. But my question is, why you got 14? Tell us. Why do you need 14?
Because enough is never enough.
Oh my goodness.
Enough is never enough. So, that's where things are. So I think that the protests have stopped.
Hmm.
Um, I may be wrong about that, but I think they've stopped. And and the international commission that's building the 30-meter telescope is cleared. They've got all the legal clearances they need
Hmm.
to proceed with the construction. Um, I know there's like I think a 5-year waiting period, so it won't be until I think 2028 when they actually um, do the construction.
Oh.
And in that 5 years, I think is where they're supposed to figure out which of the other existing ones can come down. So but as I tell y'all all the time, white folks, they take the long view. They take the long view. 5 years ain't nothing to them. you know, because
Hmm.
the bottom line is they're going to get what they want. They're going to get the telescope exactly where they want it to be. And if
Hmm.
they have to wait, if that's the compromise, if they have to wait and they have to take down some stuff they're no longer enamored with anyway. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah. That's really sad. But what I did like was your the post you shared with the album with the music
Oh, did you
from, yeah,
listen to
I
me?
did. That was so cool.
It is
Uh,
so cool. I have not been able to get that music out of my head. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I think that was done in 2017. So, so the protests were in high gear and um
Um,
but and when I posted it, I did say get the feeling, get the
mhm.
feeling of what the protests are about, because that's what that's what I really was feeling throughout the chapter, that Chanda is trying to explain a feeling thing to people that, really, I don't know if they're just incapable of feeling on that level,
Mm.
or they just don't want to, or, or what.
Yeah.
But she, in essence, is asking them to have empathy um, for what the indigenous people are saying. Um, and I don't know. I mean, my experience is that you cannot force people to have empathy when they just don't have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But keep trying, Chanda.
Yes, yes.
Keep
Mm.
trying. You're a strong woman. Maybe you will get through. Um, you will get through, but that's, and not just the case of the Indigenous Hawaiians, but all of the relationship issues around the world really, to me, come down to empathy. That's why I use that analogy of somebody breaking into your home, putting you on the street, redecorating. That's what was done to
Mm.
the Native Americans. That's what is done
Yeah.
over and over and over again. And it's insane when you think about it in those simple, you just came into my house,
Right.
put me out on the street, start doing what you want to do, kill off all my family. and won't say you're sorry.
Yes, and we can't talk about it.
Because it's making me feel some kind of hell out of you. Jill, have a wonderful week.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry we had to end.
All right.
Okay,
Let me
okay.
find something. Let me find something. There's our pretty picture. Where is it? Share the screen. There it is. You see it?
I see it. Okay.
That is a group of good relationships. Let me see. Was there one? I don't know. It really. I'm sorry, Gio. It was not a chapter that.
We can't find a silver lining in here somewhere.
I know. I read that article that you posted about the Air Force, the government settling with the woman who was sexually harassed for almost $1 million.
Yeah,
that was good news.
It sure was.
That was good news.
Yeah. One up. One up.
Yeah. And you know, what I didn't see in the story, it talked about how when she made the accusations, it created a pause in his Senate confirmation for whatever he was up for. But then he was confirmed. But so when they ultimately decided, whoever it was, that it just says an agreement with the government. So I'm not sure who that was. But when they decided to pay the, what's it called, fine or settlement or reparations, what was the evidence? What did they see that made them say, yeah, we need to just go on and settle this case that they couldn't see in the confirmation hearing? Right. You know. Yeah. But anyway, it's good that they, you know, that they settled, and maybe, you know, I mean, $1 million is a lot of money to me. I don't know if it feels like a lot of money to the government, but maybe it will, you know, give some people pause when they're thinking about sexually harassing or assaulting or raping somebody. And for people that have had that experience, give them the confidence that, you know, their accusations will be, you know, fully investigated, taken seriously, you know, and acted on appropriately if the evidence suggests that. So, you know, I mean, I don't think they paid out $1 million without some kind of evidence.
Oh, it must have been very good.
Yeah.
It must have been unimpeachable. Oh, yeah. Like, we got your handprint on her butt.
Yes. Yeah. Videotape rolling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because $1 million ain't no joke. Okay.
Right. Right.
And she's still, functional. All right. $1 million is payout for someone who has been disfigured and drooling on themselves. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. In America, that's
Yes.
we don't give you money unless you're like you ain't gonna be no good forever.
Right. 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 So, so yeah, why didn't the Senate see that same evidence?
Because they were not meant to see it. They
Didn't
saw
want
it
to
and
see
were told you didn't see it. Oh, we gonna see some things. Some people gonna see some things about you.
it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
So,
man.
but every little case matters. So yeah, I was happy to read about that.
Yeah. Well,
Thank
that's
you.
good. That's good. So we found some sunshine. We dug hard for that.
Yeah. It's hard.
Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to go watch an episode of Star Trek.
Yes.
Lift my spirits.
Yeah.
We can live long and prosper.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I will do the same.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Have
Okay.
a good week.
Thank you. You
Stay
too.
cool.
I will. If I have to run the air 24 hours.
Oh my gosh. Mm. Hmm.
But I do have a new ceiling fan in here, so that's
Oh, that's good. Well,
good.
you gotta in the in the morning, make sure all your blinds and curtains are closed and try to keep the heat out.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then you might open them later, but it
yeah,
depends, right?
yeah, yeah. Okay. All right,
Hmm.
Gia. See you
All
next
right.
week. Reading our story together.
Yes. Bye-bye.